Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Professor Ming's Strategic Insights. We all know that Communist China hates the United States, and they've been smearing the United States for a long time, for decades actually. Although there are ups and downs from time to time, but that's a general direction and that's a general tone. But wham, all of a sudden, they changed their mind. Well, it happened on December the 25th last year, 2024. People's Daily, we read something. Well, you know, People's Daily is the official newspaper in Communist China, together with other mass media. Anyway, this People's Daily, they ran a notice. They say they want to solicit articles, photos, or videos, and telling some stories. What kind of stories? They want the articles and videos and everything, or whatever it is, to tell the story about how the good stories between the exchanges and cooperations and friendship between the United States and China have been happening. Can you believe that? So they say they want to record that. They want to record the touching stories of the exchanges between the two countries to demonstrate what they call the beautiful scroll of the cooperation of two countries. Yes, you heard me right. And it's printed in the paper newspaper, and not only on the web article. And also same thing happened in another news media, again, another official media. It's called Global Times. We know that Communist China is a left-leaning regime, so they're left-leaning. And the People's Daily is considered very leftist. And this Global Times is leftist. So whatever is not suitable for the People's Daily to say, they put it on Global Times. So it's a very radical leftist newspaper. Anyway, it also run the same activity. It says they want to solicit articles, articles, stories, and videos and whatnot, and telling the same stories. How the beauty of cooperation between the United States and between the American people and the Chinese people. Anyway, so that's very touching. So that's very unusual. It's a total change of the tone, and like as we said, it's the change of the directions of the direction of the winds, not only the tone. So what causes it? And that's the main question. The answer is simple. Donald Trump is going to swear in the White House in a few weeks to come. And they're afraid that he's going to impose another tariff, or he's going to start another tariff wars against China. So they want to brown nose him, let me put it this way. But the question is, will Mr. Trump fall for it? Or will Americans fall for it? And that's a question we're going to probe into today. Remember a few months ago, I cited an article, again, published in their official news media. Actually, it's printed in People's Daily. The author of the article is their foreign ministry. And the article of the title is, let me cite it again, United States hegemony, arbitrariness, bullying, and its detriment. Remember that one? It's published on February the 20th, 2023, almost 2 years ago. The reason I want to cite it again is because it's so official, and it's a true reflection, a true representation of their official position about the United States. So that's very important. There are 5 aspects, according to their description, that how United States shows its hegemony all over the world. The first one is they call the United States an arbitrary political hegemon. United States being a political hegemon because it exports and imposes forcefully its value system onto other countries, including democracy, human rights, and rule of law, and even American political systems. So United States interfere into other countries' domestic politics arbitrarily. And the United States practiced so-called New Monroe Doctrine, and it's incited troublesome affairs like Color Revolution or Arab Spring, and so on and so forth. So that's the first one. Second one, they call the United States a militaristic military hegemon. They say that the United States history is filled with violence and expansion ever since its independence in 1776. Americans slaughtered Indians, invaded Canada, started a war against Mexico, Spain, and annexed Hawaii. And after World War II, the United States got involved into wars against Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf states, Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, and Syria, and other countries. And yeah, that may be true, but the question is, that's what I call a bandit's logic. Let me say it again, a bandit's logic. Who will blame a police officer? Only the bad guys would do that, right? So United States involved in those wars, yes, that's true. The United States is fulfilling its role as an international policeman. And that's why the United States involved in those wars. And thirdly, they call the United States a rapacious and plundering economic hegemon by installing institutions like World Bank, IMF, or Bretton Woods system, things like that. The United States established its status as an economic hegemon, and it's like a vampire, sucking blood from other countries all over the world. And that's a third accusation. The fourth accusation, they call the United States a monopolistic and oppressive technological hegemon in the name of protecting intellectual property rights, and they monopolize everything in the area, in the high-tech area. So that's the fourth one. And the fifth one, the last one, is they call the United States a enchanting and deluding cultural hegemon. Well, it's kind of tedious, but anyway, that's how they see the United States. They accuse the United States of using all kinds of video products and newspaper, books, and radio station or whatever, and to promote its cultural hegemon all over the world. In short, in all those 5 areas, the United States weaponized and politicize and ideologize all those things into weapons for the use of America to build up his hegemony all over the world. Like I said, it's a bandit's logic. It's an accusation by the bandits. Only the bad guy would hate a policeman like that. So simple as that. And in addition, according to the official mass media in mainland China, they claim that the tensions between the two countries, between the United States and Communist China, is primarily United States' responsibility, because recently the United States ignited this so-called tariff trade or tariff disputes, and it's all their fault. It's all your fault anyway. So they say, if you want to improve the relations, then primarily it is your efforts, it is your responsibility to correct your attitude and to make the best effort to improve the relations between the two. So the responsibility is not on the Chinese side, but on the American side. That's how they see it. As I told you before, for the Chinese communists, it's always politics takes command. It's the politics or the political end that they care for the most. And they do all that is for political mobilization and also for propagandistic purposes. They mobilize people with hatred. They resort to hatred as a tool or as a mechanism to mobilize people. And they've been using that for decades. So they incite hatred among people. And alongside is what we call a false nationalism, because they've been accusing foreign countries, foreigners, imperialists, or Taiwanese people, or Taiwan independence, whatever. It's all external enemies. So it's easy to mobilize people to hate external enemies, but they manipulate that all the time, and they're good at it. They use those mechanisms not only just to mobilize, but also to brainwash their own people. They brainwash their own people from little kid and to the old people and all over the country. And again, they use that to brainwash us Taiwanese. And funny enough, they use that to brainwash Americans. You'll notice that some Americans in American soil and inside American boundaries, you say that some Americans do buy their stories. Yeah, and you can see that. And you meet some of those people on the street and especially on campuses, on university campuses, like I did before. So they do that to people around the world. So they do brainwashing all over the world. They call it a cognitive warfare or propagandistic warfare, and that's what they're good at it. So how do people respond to this kind of brainwashing activity by Communist China? Some people do fall victims of it. Some people are brainwashed, and they accept it totally. They even repeat it like a parrot. So anyway, but some people do have a clear mind. They kind of see through the truth and the reality behind all these propaganda. And they know that the Communist China has been changing or flipping their policies over and over. Sometimes they say, let's go east, and sometimes they go, let's go west, and go north, and then go south. They change it all the time. Along with the change of the policies, they have to change the tone or the main theme of their propaganda. So they have to reverse their own position from time to time. So some people do notice it. Like I said, some people see through the fog of the propaganda, and they notice the truth. They notice that they've been brainwashed, so they hate it. But the problem is there's very little room for them to maneuver out of it. Now, again, the question is, why do Communist China change their mind, or at least change their tone, if not their mind? Well, the answer is simple. Their economy is going bad, and very, very bad. Like I said before, they rely heavily upon exports. It takes up about 35% of their total national revenue. But for these 2 years, because consumption and investment do not do as well as they expect, so they have to rely even more on export, and to the point of dumping goods to the foreign countries, to European markets, to American markets, to Asian markets, or even to Taiwan. So it caused a lot of antagonism. Some people begin to build up their own tariff war against it. And countries all over the world are now changing their policies, try to adjust to the incoming Trump administration. For instance, Canada, Mexico, they either visit Trump or they try to talk to Trump and try to ease his temper if there's any, and especially Malaysia. We noticed that the Malaysia police just raided a Chinese, what they call it, a Chinese mall, a Chinese mall in Malaysia, selling Chinese goods only. So they raided the mall, and they caught some illegal products and some illegal immigrants and so on and so forth, just to respond, just as a response to the incoming Trump administration, as we said it before. And Trump also proclaimed that he's going to do something in addition to impose tariffs on other countries. He claims that he's going to deal with what we call a manufacturer laundry. This is a new term. We all know about money laundering, right? Money laundering is if you want to hide the origin or want to conceal the origin of some illegal money or some illegal funds, you transfer it from one place to another, from one institution to another bank, and all the way, and then you do it over and over, and eventually the origin of this sum of money is lost, is changed. So that's what we call money laundering. And the manufacturer laundry is exactly the same thing. except for it wants to hide the origin of the manufacturer. Usually it's China, it's mainland China. And Trump administration noticed that, although it's a shadow administration, as we all know it. Anyway, he proclaimed that he's going to do something about it. That means once they are caught, he's going to impose a heavy tariffs on these countries or on these products. So these countries are very afraid of it, so they begin to do something about it. And of course, the Communist Chinese notice that, and they know that they've been doing that for years, and then they know that there's little room for them to get away from it this time, so they want to do something about it. They know if they got caught for this so-called manufacturer laundry, then heavy tariffs will be imposed on them, and their export will suffer heavy blows from Trump, and their economy will go even from bad to worse, and then followed by social turmoils or even political upheavals. So that's why they worry so much about it. So the answer is simple as that. After they've been smearing and scolding the United States for so many years, they changed their tone or changed their main theme of propaganda. But the question is, the language can be changed, but can the mentality be changed? Or will the United States believe in that, even if they change their words or change their propaganda? Let me refresh your memory by going back to how the trade war between China, Communist China, and the United States began several years ago. Actually, in late 2017, a group of us, some of my colleagues and I and myself, together we noticed that a trade war between the United States and Communist China would be inevitable. So we wrote an article and published it on, if my memory serves me correctly, it would be on January the 2nd, 2018, but nobody believed in us. And about 5 months later, in the middle of June of the same year, the trade war between Communist China and the United States began. President Trump condemned Communist China of stealing intellectual property rights, stealing technologies, and practicing unfair trade. So the United States want to retaliate against it. After many rounds of exchange of fires, they eventually said, okay, let's go down and negotiate. And after about 4 or 5 months of negotiation, they finally came to a draft of a trade agreement between the two countries, saying what Communist China should do to mend the situation, and what kind of laws, domestic laws, they have to alter or to enact some new one, and how much or how many more things they're going to buy from the United States, and so on and so forth. So that was a draft, and was almost done. But all of a sudden, on May the 3rd, 2019, that Washington received a notification from Beijing saying that they don't want it. They don't want to honor it anymore. And they said it's unfair to them. So they canceled the whole thing. That means months of some negotiation went down the drain. And Trump was furious. So 2 days later, Trump said, okay, this is it. I've had enough of it, and I want to raise the tariffs against Chinese goods, Chinese products, from 10% to 25%, and so on and so forth. And of course, naturally, Communist China retaliated. And that's how the trade war began, even until today. So that's a very brief recap of the story. The whole event somehow interestingly reminded me of a story from Aesop's Fables, the one I read when I was a little boy. Remember how the god of forest tried to make friends with a guy, with a person, and then he decided to break up with this person, with this man. The reason for that is because he noticed that the man, he blow his own palm to warm up his own palms, but on the other hand, when they eat together on the same table, he noticed that the man picked up some food because the food was steaming hot, and he blow the food to make it cold. So the first guy decided he wants to break up with this man because he said this man is too capricious. It's undependable, unreliable, because with the same blow of breath, he can make things cold and can make things warm. So that's unacceptable to him. And somehow, Chinese Communist behavior in these years, well, actually all through these years, especially in this case, is a reminder of this Aesop's fable. So in sum, it seems to me that a new round of tariffs war or a trade war between the United States and Communist China seems inevitable. And the scale may be different. And the intensity may be different. So, but anyway, the conflict will be inevitable. And again, we can be sure that China will try to retaliate. We'll think of a lot of things, a lot of ways to retaliate and to fight back against the United States. So the United States has to be prepared, because you don't know how far they can go. Communists will think things very differently from us, and you can never imagine how low their moral standard can be, or if there's any. So the world and the United States and Taiwan will have to make their best preparation for the worst to come. Well, I hate to end it in a very pessimistic mood, but it seems, like I said, inevitable. So again, let's make the best preparation for the worst to come. Anyway, I hope I'm wrong, but still, let's be careful. That's all I want to share with you today. If you like today's program, please subscribe and share it with your friends and click the little icons so you'll get the simultaneous notification once we get a new program on. Anyway, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.